the treasure, they want to find it now. They are Kpro and they are Cow. They're going over it and over it and over it again. This treasure hunt created by Forrest Fenn. Sing it! Kpro Cow Pow Wow. Kpro Cow Pow Wow Wow. It's the Kpro Cow Pow Wow.
Okay, we had to cut that off. Today is not Monday. Today is not the Kpro Cow Powwow. Today is Sunday, March 7th. And you just never know when we're going to go live, when Kpro is going to whip together a PowerPoint and say, we're going live with it today. So make sure you subscribe for that. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Today is Sunday, like I said, and we're going to talk about why the solution is not being released, or why the solution has not been released up to this point. And I'll just say it right now. This is most of it's Kpro's opinion, but I will weigh in with my opinion as well as we go. Go ahead, Kpro. You might want to, you're kind of cut off, Kpro. There you go, a little bit. There you go. Go ahead. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Yes, it's Sunday. Because Monday, we have a panel of people. You guys can't just listen to us, which is me most of the time. We have a panel, and the panel wants to know my thoughts on this before, and I actually just know I would talk 90% of the time tomorrow night. So I'm just going to lay out my thoughts. And I'm doing one of those infamous, famous, silly, stupid PowerPoints, because that's what helps me get organized in my brain. So I put one together because there's a lot of questions about, why don't you think the solution's coming out? Is it really because we will damage the forest? And I have some opinions on it. So this is mostly my opinion, but Mike will weigh in on what his thoughts are. I try to quote as many actual quotes as possible and factual evidence. And then there might be an email or two. You know that friend that you have that always gets you into trouble? Have you ever had a friend like that, Mike? Oh, I'm that to you. You know who that is to me?
Oh.
Cynthia Meacham.
Yeah, I knew that.
And so Cynthia, the last time we were doing margaritas, she was like, you need to show like actual emails. So there may be an email or two that Cynthia's going to be delighted that is included. I don't know. I'm just saying that you guys are going to see some emails. I try not to do that, but it lends credibility. And Cynthia was right. If I just say there's an email, that's one thing. But if I show an email, that's something else. So you guys might be seeing an email
But it could be photoshopped.
There you go. Oh, yeah. You know what? That's chasing Indy too. That's chasing Indy too. I have them everywhere.
What happened to your pinky?
I've explained it a couple times. I jammed it on the dining room table like a month ago, and it was better. You don't have to go to the doctor over. It was a little bruised. It was not a big deal, but then it was so stupid. I jammed it when I was turning over in bed. She's gonna make a joke. I jammed on my leg, and it like broke it. Like, I think I'm at the point, because it's been like 4 weeks, I need to go to the doctor, but I hate the doctor. The last time I was at the doctor was when I had birth of my children. I don't like doctors. No offense if you are one. I'm not a real one. I get it. We all don't like doctors, but anyway. So I don't even have a good story, Cynthia. Help me come up with a good story so I can invent one. And okay, so there you have it. So that's our introduction. I do want to talk about a couple more things that are going to come up. If you guys saw Tony Dicakopoulos, sorry.
That can't be right. Dicopol? I don't know.
Yeah, he tweeted that he has Dan Barbarosi's new book, and he's the one that hates Forrest so much. And so I have to tell you, I've never really communicated with Dan. And so I communicated and said, why in the hell does Tony have your book? And it looks pretty juicy. And guess what? I've had a little discussion with Dan Barbarosi, and there is a lot there. I would like to talk about that another night. We are having the panel tomorrow night. We have some new people. We have somebody that I know you'll be interested in talking to. If you wonder to yourself, wouldn't it be cool to have part of Forrest Fenn's collection? Yeah, maybe we're going to have somebody on that has one of those and is a searcher and is just so smart.
But also,
don't be a player hater.
Don't player hate because they own part of Forrest Fenn's collection. I'm talking to you. Don't player hate. they're in that position. Good for them. Okay, I will say this, everybody, before we get into one of Kpro's world famous PowerPoints. Thumbs the video up, super chats on if you have a question you just have to have answered. And yeah, it's a nice Sunday. We hope it's nice where it is, where you are. It's nice here in Vegas. And yeah, let's jump right into it, I guess. Just a reminder, tomorrow night, 7 p.m., our normal time, is the Forrest Fenn panel. Top secret. Who's going to be on? Top secret, except for the one person you said that's going to be on. Other than that, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to mention is after tomorrow night's show, we're going to do the Zoom for the Hunt for History, the 12 pounds of silver in Washington County, Indiana. So, but I only want it to be for those of you who have ordered the map, and a lot of people have reached out. So there will be a Zoom after the live show tomorrow. It's not going to be on YouTube, private Zoom. We're going to try and solve the ciphers involved in the Hunt for History. Let me know if you're interested. All right, take it away, Kpro.
Okay, so let me go with the rest of what else is happening in the Fenn universe. The photo analysis project is well underway. And if you guys don't know it, I think I can say this. Well, I'm going to say it, and I'm apologize to the organizers if I'm not supposed to.
I'm ready on the breaking news button. Go.
There were 5 of the donors. To make sure and give it a little bit more transparency and credibility, the final analysis is going, the report is going to 5 searchers. I have been selected as one of the 5 searchers. I have gotten permission to share when we get to that point. So there might be a nothing burger, it might be a something burger. You don't know. I'm not organizing this event or this project, but I will say I thank you for, or I don't know, I think it'll be cool. I probably won't even be able to understand it all. It'll all be in Chinese, Japanese, Photoshop speak, but it will be fun.
So that will be breaking news when we have it.
Yeah.
So when the results are back from the photo analysis on the Jack and Forrest pictures, we'll go live and tell everybody what it says, right?
Yeah, so we have book stuff to talk about. We have photo analysis stuff. And then we have our panel tomorrow night. That's where I will stop for now. We have some other stuff happening in the Fenn universe, but I don't know if I want to say it. We got enough controversial stuff tonight.
And I just have to say, I have to apologize to Mr. Clue and Bobby. So the last video we did, which was Thursday night, apparently we had some internet issues. If you guys watch that video, it cuts off before the end. And it cuts off where I didn't turn the video off. It actually prematurely cut off on its own. We went into Mr. Clue's new hunt, and we went into Bobby D's new masterclass on code ciphers and treasure hunts, and all that got cut off. I was pretty much breaking news for Mr. Clue, and then it cut off. We did not do that on purpose, and I did not cut it off. We had some internet. I don't know why it cut off, which is interesting. So we're going to do it right now to make up for it. And that is Mr. Clue is in the house, in the chat room. Mr. Clue has a new treasure hunt coming up. It premieres tonight at 6 p.m. I forgot it was actually tonight. So it premieres in less than 2 hours. Mr. Clue on YouTube. I'm putting the link to his video in the chat right now. Everybody check that out. This is a armchair. In other words, you put the answer in the chat, and the first person who gets it wins, related to the Kentucky Derby. It's got some awesome coins as prizes. It's got a little silver cup as prizes. Check out Mr. Clue. And then the other thing is Bobby's masterclass started today, but you can still get in because he's going to do it every weekend. So I'll put in the chat Bobby's email address. And if anybody's interested in a class on codes and ciphers, that's what you would do. He's asking for $10, everybody. Come on, $10 is not that much. You can send it through him via PayPal. Here is his email address right now. And then I'll put his PayPal link as well in the chat. That's all I got. Take it away, Kpro. And we'll talk about Mr. Clue at the end as well as a reminder.
Okay, we might have lots of stuff to talk about by the end, because if you haven't heard in chat, I think it was Packer Jack said it's going to be Jack, Barbara, and the source on the panel tomorrow. I told him $50. I'm going to vote no.
That'd be a big yes. That happened, man. But Greg was on, so never say never. We probably say never on that one.
Okay, so we are going to move on. Greg emailed me yesterday and today. How do you like that? And he's in Santa Fe, and I hope he's having a very uneventful, kind of boring, but delightful, because it's a vacation, but nothing else. And Greg's being him, and good for Greg. And I know we have agreed that we go we have different ways of going about things, but we both agree crappy ending to the greatest treasure hunt ever known. Okay, put the PowerPoint up. Let's get to it. You guys have been waiting. Thumbs up this video as Mike gets the PowerPoint ready.
Okay, here we go. We're ready to jump right into it. We hope everybody's got a drink, has got some popcorn, sit back, relax, and here we go.
Okay, so who is the reason and why is the treasure chest location and solution not being revealed? This I'm gonna put in the auspice of saying this is my analysis only. This is my conclusions. If I'm wrong, guess what? I'm going off the best data that I have because we're in chaos mode. Everybody's getting super secret emails privately, and they've had super secret emails privately, and there's very little to go on. So at the end of every slide, I'm going to concentrate on the slide because I don't want to go too fast. And Mike, at the end of each slide, if you put an @Cowlazars, would you put an @Cowlazars, and we will try after every single slide to answer the questions as we go. Okay, I was helping him along here. Okay, this is an important disclaimer. I believe at this time that, and unless something significantly changes, that Jack is the finder, Jack is the solver, Jack is the retriever. I know a lot of you don't. I am a Jack supporter, and I do not believe that there is a conspiracy around him being a searcher, went boots on the ground, had a solve well enough to find the Forrest Fenn treasure. I believe the final location was in Wyoming, and the treasure rightfully belongs to Jack. Let me make that clear, and the reason that I say that is I'm not a Jack troll or hater. I'm a hater of the end of this chase and how it's being rolled out, not only by Jack, but by Forrest, by a few others. But so I believe that there's more than what's being said. I don't believe Forrest was 100% accurate all the time. I think there's certain things he didn't answer, certain things that happened. I believe Jack's almost the same way. Oftentimes, Forrest would answer a question and let people assume differently, kind of like, why did you leave the treasure chest and get explicit permission? Oh, I just felt like it would be important. No, there was more to it. There was legal documents, legal reasons, etc. And Forrest has said, nothing is what it seems. I believe there's a nothing is what it seems here. I'm exploring these rabbit holes. In my opinion, I do it in good faith, meaning I just try to get as many opinions from the community and do as much due diligence and verification as I can. But it's not perfect because guess what? I'm not a scientist. I'm not these are just my opinions. Take them or leave them. But I hope the only thing you can say or hold against me is I'm just being genuine with my opinions. They are not hating anybody. I don't hate anybody in this chase. I feel sorry for some people. I love some people. I like some people and everything in between, but especially Jack. I hope you don't take this as me trolling you. I know he's under a lot of pressure right now, and I think there may have been some times he's misconstruing the stuff I'm saying, perhaps by being critical. I am being critical of how this ending is, but not of the guy that found the treasure chest. What say you, Michael? And there's a smiley face for you, Jack. That's a smiley face for you, mister.
You, that's all you care about.
That was from Jack. Okay. That's all. I agree with everything you said there. This is our opinion. We rabbit holes. It's fun to go down as long as you can get out again. Put it that way.
And you help me to do that sometimes. You say, cut it out. Okay. So the first part of this presentation is the words that we've heard from Forrest. The second part of this is going to be Jack. And then the third part of this is going to be, maybe we'll throw in a Shiloh. And then we're going to hear my opinion. So let's start with the man himself, Forrest. So there was a searcher back in 2012. And this is Ty Blossom is Stephanie. Stephanie had this up on Chase Chat. She's also emailed it to me. So this is with permission of, in 2012, Forrest said to her, if someone finds the treasure, I will publish the clues and you will be surprised how easy they were. So in 2012, he is saying the solution, I'm going to be walking through why I think the solution is not out. But in 2012, the man himself said that he's going to be publishing it. Next slide, please, unless you have questions along the way.
Well, the surprising thing to me is he says you'll be surprised how easy they were. It's like, really? It's been 10 years. I know he sent this back in 2012, but to Forrest, he thought they were easy. And he did say people would be surprised. I don't know if he said the solution or the location, but that's interesting to me. All right, here we go.
Well, and I think you have to remember this particular searcher. I heard this. I don't know if it's true, so don't hold me to it, Stephanie. But like Stephanie hired a manhole cover remover person and like removed every manhole cover in West Yellowstone. Like she went to some pretty extreme lengths to try to solve this. She was a dedicated searcher. So I think what he was saying is, guys, you're all being too complicated. Like when he said, put foot pounds and this and that and codes and ciphers and don't do any of that. I think he kept saying to us, guys, it's a lot more straightforward. That was, I think, what he was saying. Okay, next slide. Okay, so now in 2013, so we have 2012, 20 and 13 at the Moby Dixon, I can't talk today, I'm not even drinking. Moby Dickens Q&A. Are you concerned that once it is discovered that your private spot will be exposed to so many people and it'll no longer be special, or ... There are all kinds of case scenarios. If a person finds it, they might not want the IRS to know. It may be in a spot that will never be revealed. But laughter, the type of person that's going to find the treasure is the type of person who can't keep it quiet. But I'm not worried about that, really. Okay, so he's kind of saying that hasn't been the case so far. But in 2013, he's saying he's not really concerned about it. That's up to the finder. Hi, Richard.
Well, I would say this. I mean, Forrest says if a person finds it and he doesn't want the IRS to know it, it may be that the spot will never be revealed. And then he laughs, but still, that may be the exact reason why Jack doesn't want to reveal it. He doesn't want the IRS to know it. I don't think the IRS can tax you on something if they don't, if they don't know about it, type thing.
Yeah, but he knows about it. I have a different theory, but you're right. You're right.
Yeah, well, I mean, Forrest says if he doesn't want the IRS to know about it, it may be that spot will never be revealed. And it may be that something that has to do with the spot is important tax-wise, IRS-wise as well, possibly. But then he says, but I guess he was wrong. Treasure test, the type of person who can't keep it as quiet, but he's not worried about that really. Now, what do you think he means by I'm not worried about that? Meaning he's not worried if the person comes out with it or not, or he's not worried that the person will not reveal it?
I think he's not worried that his special spot would be discovered and exposed and destroyed and all of that. Look at the question originally. I'm not really worried about. Are you concerned that once someone discovers your private spot, that it's going to be exposed to somebody and it's not as special? That's what I think he's not worried about.
So he's saying it. He doesn't believe it'll be destroyed, et cetera. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Once you see that with the question. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 2013. So we're still like 7 years ago. Now, this is used with permission. There is a video from Forrest, and you guys will hear the voice. You'll know who it is. There's a video in 2015 that was complete. Well, just play it. Play it. So Mike, I didn't hear that. Did the sound was not there for everyone else. Okay, Mike's gonna play it again, guys.
You guys didn't get that? All right, here.
If the test is found, but the person wants to remain anonymous, will you reveal to everyone else, to the public, where the treasure was hidden?
I'd have to think about that. I don't know whether I would or not. Certainly, I would be influenced by the person that found the treasure. If he wants to remain anonymous, well, of course he can do. He doesn't even have to tell me who he is. He can do that without me. But if he wants the location to remain anonymous, then I would probably honor that also.
Okay. So he's basically saying, you know, it's up to the person. It's up to the person.
Yep. Okay, so that's 2015. Now let's move on to 2018. Over on Dale's side, he's kind of going to start making his rounds. On 2018, the finder wants me to remain anonymous, and I always said the finder gets to make those calls. Who and where? This is 2018 on the web archive. And then there's a little known video out there. I thought there was a mysterious
one. Yeah,
I was gonna say there was a mysterious writings one. Go back one. Arrow up. There you go. Mysterious writings in 2018. Forrest, when the treasure chest is found, would you prefer the finder to not disclose the exact resting spot? Where the treasure will
Whoever finds the treasure will have more than a few decisions to make. One of them will be whether or not to reveal the location. I will leave that up to the finder. F.
So leaving it up to the finder. So now we've gone pretty much from 2012, 2013, 2015, 2017, or 2018, and now let's go to 2019. Forrest seems pretty consistent here. So let's see what happened in 2019.
There's this little known video that somebody took of him. Here we go.
Now, do you want your final location to be known, or are you ambivalent to that?
What
So
do you mean my final location?
The final location of the treasure chest, where that special spot to you?
That's up to the person that finds it, and if he says he doesn't want anybody to know, in a million years, I would not tell anyone.
Do you mind if he does tell everyone?
It's his decision.
Okay.
A million years, Forrest would not tell anyone, but it's up to the finder. So it sounds like Forrest is ambivalent. He doesn't care one way or the other. It's up to the finder.
And I can say I know that one for sure. I was the interviewee. So 2019, this is 7 months before the solve, 10 months before he passes. He has said the finder. Okay. Now, Forrest's last public statement after there was a finder. So the finder, the chase is over, indicates it was the finder's decision, because I promised the finder I would not reveal who found it or where. I have remained mostly silent. So now we're in July. In July, before Forrest passed, he passed in September, he has made a public statement that says, I am staying mostly silent because the finder has requested that, because he promised the finder. I actually think there's an NDA, but these are the things he has said. I'm sticking with the facts at this point. So we're now in 2020, after the find, before Forrest passes, of course. We have Forrest saying it's because of the finder. So now let's transition to Jack's words. What Jack has said about why isn't he revealing it, both the solution and the final location, and whose fault is it? So initially he said it's going to be destroyed by searchers. The reason that he's not disclosing it, it'll be destroyed by people seeking the treasure. That's the first one. He said they'll imperil the location. So again, he's going into the kind of destruction. Searchers will destroy the location. So this one, he gets a little bit more. There's more to it. He says not only would they damage the site, but Forrest, it's a safety issue. At the final location, there is a safety concern. He talks about winter weather conditions. He talks about searchers getting injured trying to solve the location before. So if you put it out, there might be a safety issue, wrong conditions, that sort of thing. Here's the exact words, but he's basically saying it's unsafe for searchers to be there. They could get injured.
Go ahead, Kpro.
Sorry, I was reading the chat there. So he also says he's going to return to the location and he wants it to always remain as pristine as he first discovered it. So it also could be because he wants to go back and he wants it kind of to his own to make sure that it's exactly like he left it. So that is another reason that he said. So these are the reasons he says it's searchers could destroy it. He wants it pristine like when he goes back, and searchers could injure themselves. Those are the three reasons he has put out. I'll put out some more specifics in a minute.
Wattleman 699 says there is a non-disclosure agreement. It was mentioned by F's lawyer in the Anderson lawsuit. See, I didn't know that. It wasn't mentioned in the court document.
Waterman, I was asking if anybody could find the exact, there's so many motions and responses, etc. I thought that said that Forrest signed the non-disclosure. Correct me if I'm wrong, Waterman, because I find it fascinating that Forrest had to sign the non-disclosure. That's what I remember, but I can't find that actual piece of the document. Somebody said, oh, just go into the dockets. Do you know how many motions, responses, all of that's in there? If you know the detail, that would be awesome. Make sure to put at Kpro or at Cowlazars. Okay, so we have Forrest saying it's up to the finder. Up to this point, Jack has said it's for 3 different reasons. Go ahead. Okay, and then he says this was in one of his Forrest Gets Mail, I believe. If I could be assured the spot wouldn't be destroyed, Forrest was okay with it, and most of us searchers just wanted to be handed to them, then sure, I don't get off on withholding, on it being withheld. So he's kind of adding in there 2 things. If Forrest is okay with it, this is the first time we're seeing if Forrest is okay with it. I think this is right around November or December. And, you know, these searchers, they just want it handed to them, those lazy bums. That was my ad-libbing. He did not say lazy bums. He just said, and if most searchers just want it handed to them. But wait, there's more. So let's get into now the emails that I have seen and been provided on once Forrest passed, things get more interesting because the story evolves a little bit. Okay. So the first one is, if you see the question down below, did Forrest tell you he did not want the location made public? And this is in January. So now Forrest is passed, and Jack's answer is yes. So no searcher, family, or friend in the last 10 years could have heard any of that. But now that Forrest has passed, this is the private email that I have seen. And these are being provided by a variety of people. This was one of them because I did ask, did anybody ask this question? And these are the ones that are out there. So Jack, as of January 23rd, has said now it is because of Forrest.
We did get a super chat, Mr. Billy Shaw Jr. with the $5 super chat. Hey now, he says Jack was witty, Jack was quick, Jack got the treasure, we got the stick. Thank you very much for that super chat, Billy Shaw Jr. Kind of reminds me of Noah this, Moses that, Judas hit Jesus with a wiffle ball bat. Okay, I don't know where that came from. All right, go ahead, Kpro.
Next slide. My goodness. Oh, thank you, Billy. Okay, emails to searchers. Were you aware before you found the chest that Forrest said in 2019, I believe, that it was up to the finder whether the location would be revealed? If you did know this, had you made a decision on the aspect before you met? Jack said, yes, I knew that, meaning I knew what Forrest had said, and no, it didn't influence me. So he's kind of saying here, it's up to him, is how I took that. Is that how you take that? So the first part of that is, were you aware before you found the treasure chest in 2019 that it's up to you, the finder, if it's revealed? And he says, yes, he did know that he said that. And then if you did know this, had you made a decision on the aspect before you met him? And he's saying, no, Forrest didn't influence him. That's how I take that. Is that how you read that answer, Michael?
I'm trying to see. Yes, he knew. So Jack is saying, yes, I knew that before the chest was found, Forrest said it was up to the finder whether the location would be revealed. And then Jack says, no, that didn't influence me. I guess.
So Forrest didn't influence him, right?
Well, no, he doesn't say Forrest. He says it didn't influence me. I think he's saying that the decision was up to him didn't influence him on whether he was going to reveal it or not. That's the way I read it.
Okay. Okay. So the next one is, when it came to discussing what to do about revealing the chest location, was it a quick, easy decision when you met, or was it more like weighing pros and cons for hours and over days? And Jack said there's very little discussion. We were on the same page. He didn't say here, Forrest told me what to do. He didn't say I told Forrest. They were on the same page, right?
Yeah, that's what it says. Sounds like they both just agreed it shouldn't be revealed, according to Jack.
Yeah, well, no, later he's going to say it's not him. Well, yeah, let's let it just play out. So, Jack states Forrest in court and family words indicated this was Forrest's wishes. So now he's transitioning a little bit to saying the reason that I'm doing it is to hold to Forrest, and because I respect him so much, you'll see some of that verbiage in a minute. So I did it because Forrest is making me, or Forrest is requesting this of me. So Forrest suggested the final location reveal was up to a finder of number of times. This is an email from a searcher. Forrest suggested the location reveal was up to the finder a number of times after the chest was found, but you suggested he wanted to protect it. As you can imagine, this confuses a lot of people. Is there any more you can say on this? Jack says, sure, if people want to ignore his actions in court and words of his family when it was revealed, then all you have to go on is my word. He answered that question over the years in a way that didn't betray if he had an opinion on the matter, but of course he did. So this is the beginning of, we're now in the last couple of months. He's now saying, this is the beginning of him telling searchers it was actually Forrest's idea. Okay, next slide.
So, but what do the actions in court mean? What did Forrest do in court?
Oh, just wait. I have the court docket.
And also, just so you know, Chasing Indy says she just sent you some responses from Jack that sound like they relate. Okay.
Okay. So here's the court document. I threw it up on Thor. I threw it up on Facebook. You guys always come through. This is the only mention that we could find in all the court documents. Fenn committed to the finder and indeed had publicly committed throughout the treasure hunt that if someone found the chest, Fenn would keep the identity of the person who found the chest and the location confidential. Now, to me, that means Forrest is abiding by the finder's wishes. To Jack, I believe this is what he's referencing. He's interpreting it that it was Fenn's opinion. How do you read paragraph 23?
Well, first off, who was this from? Well, who submitted this?
This was a submission by a Forrest. It was Forrest's statement submitted to the court by Carl Sumner in, I believe it was the Erskine case. I don't remember.
Yeah, okay, I got you. As long as it comes from Forrest's lawyer. No, I read this as Forrest is saying it's up to the finder, not that Forrest has an opinion one way or the other. Yeah, I don't see Forrest saying we need to keep it confidential. He's saying I'm leaving it up to the finder, which is what he's always made.
I agree, but he's saying there's, and if there's other court documents, Jack, if there's other court documents, this is the only thing we could find in reference to the final location and why it was remaining confidential. I don't see, I'm glad, Mike, we haven't talked about this beforehand. I read it like you read it. He's just saying it's going to be confidential. He's not saying who that should be attributed to.
Right, he's not giving an opinion. Forrest isn't right here anyway.
Okay, Forrest, Jack did not keep it a secret. Wait, Forrest did not need to keep it a secret, and that Forrest didn't want the location revealed. So here's another email. I could imagine a mutual sort of agreement on keeping the location secret and safe, and also perhaps Forrest not wanting to share the fact that he had an opinion on the secrecy. Was it something like that? And he's saying, no, there was nothing like that. If he had wanted me to try to make it secret that he had an opinion because he didn't want to disappoint some people, he could have asked me. And I would have obliged because I'm very grateful for him for finding this treasure and what it's meant to my life, but he didn't. So Jack is saying, I'm not betraying Forrest and saying, hey guys, this is his idea, not my idea. Don't blame me. He didn't tell anybody. He didn't want it known, or it wasn't known until after he died, but let me be the messenger. And Shiloh, he's actually the one that wanted it sealed. For the last 10 years, all the things that he has said just wasn't the case. That's how I'm reading Jack's position. Agreed?
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Okay. So Jack, this is from me. Jack offered me, based on, I think it was the Puerto Rico show. When you have a question, ask me related to what you're going to be going and talking about, and I will try to make sure that you don't have misinformation out there. So I did what he asked. I said, Jack, this was on March 3rd. So this was 4 or 5 days ago when I started preparing this, working all week hard. Jack, Forrest indicated to some searchers that he could not wait until the solution was out for the beauty, simplicity, giving them more closure. I know you have stated you do not want the solution or location out, but do you believe that Forrest felt the same way? Thank you in advance for your response. So I was trying to be as exact as possible. Next slide. Okay, so Jack responded this way. He said, I would be very surprised if he actually said anything like that at all recently. As I said in my outside interview, he was willing to go to great lengths to protect that place. Here is what Shiloh wrote on the subject. My grandfather wanted to keep the chest location secret after it had been found because he feared that if the location became known, it could be ruined by the number of people who might attempt to go to the site. The location was very special to my grandfather, and the last thing he wanted is to see it destroyed, either innocently or through malicious intent. The thrill and closure of figuring out remains attainable for everyone, of course, but I have the responsibility to protect this place. He's saying it's still attainable, even though the treasure chest wasn't there, and he searched for 2 years in a location. I'm going to leave that one alone. But this is in fact the case that Shiloh put out this information. So, and Paul, you can go back and put this on slow mode if you want, because I want to keep going so we don't spend too much time, but I want to. Okay, so Jack is now saying, look at two things. The court document, which I believe the court document doesn't say what he's saying, but Shiloh's statement sure does. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, Shiloh's definitely saying that. Shiloh is saying my grandfather, he wanted to keep the chest location a secret even after it had been found because he feared that if the location, it's exactly what Jack has been saying. So that is being confirmed by Shiloh, right?
Right, Shiloh after Forrest passed away, yes. Next slide. So my inquiry back to Jack was, you said that you would be surprised if he said that recently. Did something change recently? You are correct. The statements from Forrest wanting the solution out to searchers were a few years back, and he only recently stated that it's up to the finder. I say this because if it had been found in the earth, so this is Jack's response. I say that because if it had been found in the early days, there were very few people in the search and there was little to no media attention. It probably would have been reasonable to assume revealing it wouldn't lead to destruction. But then thousands got into it, meaning the chase. Delusions were formed. People got arrested for illegal digging. People endangered rescuers and themselves. People died. You can't just stick your head in the sand and pretend it's like The Secret or something like that. There's obvious consequences to revealing the location. Now, the one thing I have to say here, so Forrest, after 10 years of dealing with that, his granddaughter almost being kidnapped, people breaking in, axemen, authorities coming after him, but he couldn't tell us searchers before he died. He doesn't really want it out. He needs the protector Jack to come and be heroic and help him. Are we supposed to buy that? Like, that's what he's saying. Jack needed to be the protector, and he's kind of throwing Forrest, but he waited until he died. Okay, let's keep going because I will only get sarcastic and mean.
Waddleman 699 came back and said number 43, same document you referred to in the Anderson case. Number 43 or item 43, disclosure of the identity and contact information of the finder will be a violation of the agreement of confidentiality to which Fenn is subject with the finder. So does that mean they signed a agreement of confidentiality the same as an NDA?
Right, NDA is non-disclosure agreement, which is a confidentiality agreement. So it seems like Forrest would have been breaking the law if he would have. So that means Jack had him sign a non-disclosure?
I don't know. I just wonder if they mean the verbal agreement where Forrest has said, I won't reveal the solution. I won't reveal the finder if they want to remain anonymous. Could they meet?
I take it as NDA. This would be a great question. Agreement of confidentiality, is that the same as a non-disclosure agreement? Was it written? Was it verbal? Both are contracts, but one is obviously written is even more so. What a man, 699, good for you. Wow, is all I have to say. Okay, let's keep going. You guys are bringing in new stuff too. Okay, so here is what Shiloh wrote me. This was back when Jack came out as the finder. And you know how it was all like the day before the final deadline for the subpoena. Jack came out, Shiloh came out with a statement. It was all like perfectly released all at the same time. I asked Shiloh, is this the actual finder? And did you read this article? Is it correct? I'm kind of fact finding a little bit. So Shiloh responded to me, and you can see the date, September 30th. Christy, yes, that's from us, because I asked him if that statement was true that he put out, which is the one that Jack references, which is, so that is not Shiloh making that. I mean, it wasn't made up. Some people were like, did Dale write that for Shiloh? No, that was Shiloh. The article from the finder is legit. I thought it was well written and mostly accurate. Have a great day, Shiloh.
Well, it is interesting. I mean,
okay, I have a few things to say on this.
And then Chasing Indy wants you to read her email as well. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I need to walk through this because it's my stream of thought, but I will get there. So first, the only way that Shiloh can confirm if he's the finder, not that this is breaking news, I think we'll give credit to Cynthia for breaking this news. That means Shiloh has to know. And secondly, for something to be mostly accurate, that means there's some things in there not accurate, correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Well, but I don't think it means that Shiloh knows the location. Is that what you just said? Because the Medium article didn't go into the location, right?
Yeah, yeah. But anything in there, he would have to know that he's wrong.
But so in other words, what I think Shiloh could be referring to, in just my opinion, is the meeting that took place between Forrest and Shiloh. When he says mostly accurate, maybe there's something, I don't know. I don't know what Shiloh meant by that, but I don't think it has anything to do with the location. I don't know if that's what you were inferring or not.
Yeah, I think so, but it's an opinion. But I'm starting to think that, especially after last week's. But here's the other one. For something to be mostly accurate, it's somewhat inaccurate, correct?
Yeah, I mean, mostly accurate. That's right. That's true. That would mean there would be something that isn't accurate. That's true.
That's all I have to say on this slide.
Okay.
So Forrest, after many, many months of silence, agreed to an interview, much like the 2019 interview. It was scheduled the week after the finale. He said it was time. He wanted to have the interview. He said he must review and approve the final product. The first interview, he signed full rights away. Now, was it lessons learned to him, or was there a reason? I think it's probably because of a non-disclosure.
Yeah, let's just be clear. The interview is with you, because I don't think you said that part, because a lot of people probably don't know this, is that you had talked to Forrest after it was found, November 2019. You were supposed to go and get an interview, sit down with an interview with Forrest, right?
Right.
Okay. And that's what these statements are about. Okay.
Yeah. So the person that was going to film was not available right after the finale. It was available the following week. Forrest did respond to me then and said, why don't you just come alone? Which you guys know that rarely happened. I told him it wasn't possible because I just got back from the finale. I had a kid situation. I was still juggling a lot. He said, schedule it ASAP. I believe he was ready maybe to give us a little bit more information. I don't know. This is more the factual part of things. But isn't it interesting that it was not going to be a full release? He wanted questions beforehand. He wanted to review it before he would release it, all of that. I think it's because he was under a non-disclosure. Okay, the old Santa Fe Trading Company, initially, I got this from Reddit. They have some pictures. I didn't want to grab from there because their mods are not very nice to me. So the initial release on the site, the family-owned Old Santa Fe Trading Company site, indicated the finder sent pictures as evidence that he was from back east and that more info about the find will follow. All three of those things were removed on the release at Old Santa Fe Trading Company. And there are specifics on Thor. There's actually some screen captures and things. So I just find that interesting that they took those 3 bits of information out on Old Santa Fe Trading Company.
Yeah, I don't know. They do own that, right? The Forrest Fenn family owns that website. Yeah. Okay.
And Dirk saying, really, you told him that it's not possible for you to visit. I had just been away for 4 days. I wasn't able to get away the following day to get back to him. So I just said, I can do it in a couple of days. I didn't realize those couple of days would matter in that same way. So I had just gotten back from the finale on Monday. I think, Cynthia, you might be able to correct me better. I think we were going to be scheduled to go out there the following Wednesday or Thursday. And he's like, can you come this weekend? And I was like, I just need a couple more days. I just didn't realize the couple more days he was going to pass. So no, I didn't refuse to visit. I just said, I just got home from the finale. I just got home from travel. I did have kids. Mike was great about taking care of all the kids and things. But yeah, I was definitely juggling a few things. Okay.
Yeah, it was just the timing. It's not that you didn't go or didn't want to go. It was just about the timing.
Okay, I'm putting this up. There's a lot here, but it's just a summary of everything I went through. So let me go over, because this is what, if you want to go back and not go through everything else at the last 45 minutes we talked about, you can just look at this. So if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, that is the key to the colors. So directly from Fenn, prior to there being a finder, Forrest said in 2012, I will publish the solution. He said in 2013, it's up to the finder and he's not concerned that it's going to be destroyed. In 2015, he said it's up to the finder. In 2017, Dale F says it's up to the finder on Mysterious Writings in 2018, and our interview in 2019. I'm going through that blue at the top, that blue set of boxes. So that's what the blue is. Direct from Fenn after there was a finder. On Dale's, he said, I promised the finder I would not say where. And in the court documents, now we know there's 2 different places. Forrest would keep the identity and location confidential. Now, I do put a little caret that for the red ones, Forrest indicated less than 2 months before he passed away that it was the finder or Jack who requested the location not to be shared. So all I'm saying is this whole talk that it was Forrest Fenn only happened after he passed away. So now let's go to the green. This was direct from Jack via the press. The location is not appropriate for a tourist attraction. I'm starting at the top in the green boxes. He wanted to revisit the spot and keep it pristine. The location was a safety issue. The location could be destroyed. Jack, the searchers just want to have this handed to them. Now, these were in the press releases beforehand. So again, now directly, now this is after Forrest passed away, we have, and this is the purple, the only time that Jack now starts to indicate it was Forrest's idea and he's just doing what Forrest wants is after Forrest passed. Jack says it's Forrest's wishes not to have the location known. Jack says Forrest said it would not be appropriate tourist attraction. Jack says Forrest court actions and family statements make us know that it was actually Forrest's idea. Jack was asked specifically if it was a mutual agreement, and Jack says no, it was Forrest. Jack says Forrest changed his position due to the craziness of searchers. And I think there is a little bit of something to that. I think there's a little truth in that, and even a lot of truth in that. I just think there's a little bit more. Directly from Shiloh, Shiloh indicates 2 things. Shiloh did put out that statement, everyone, and he did say Forrest, his grandfather, wanted to withhold the final location. But he also said what Jack says is mostly right. Okay, next slide. So just come back to this if you ever just want to see all of it in one spot. So here's the side-by-side discrepancies that I see. And this isn't a attack on anybody. It's just where I start to see discrepancies, just like little slip ups. I'm trying to find the slip ups. That's how we found that's how Jack found the treasure chest. Maybe that's how we'll find the final location. Forrest said the final location is safe. He told this a million times. Do not go where an 80-year-old man would not go. But Jack is saying the final location is not safe enough for him to be able to share it. It says shared it here. It should say shared it. So Jack is saying that's one of the reasons that he can't share it is it's a safety issue. But Forrest said all along it wasn't a safety issue. So I don't know if I believe that one. The second one, Forrest said, with his own words, I'm not concerned the final location would be destroyed. But Jack is saying he's concerned that the final location will be destroyed. Now, could there be something to what Jack is saying? Because early on, there weren't the crazy, the 7%ers, etc. I talked about this with Forrest a lot. I can see this one a little bit, but there is a discrepancy. But why wouldn't Forrest put it out? I don't think he's intimidated all of a sudden after 10 years of people literally like trying to kidnap and kill. Now he's worried that him saying, I don't want it known, he needs Jack to do that because he's scared all of a sudden? I don't know. Forrest said it's up to the finder if he wants to reveal the location. He said this from 2013 up to 2 months before he died. Jack, only since Forrest's death, has said, no, it's Forrest. Forrest is the reason I'm not putting it out. What say you, Michael?
Well, I think what Jack did allude to. Okay, so the first one, the final location safe. Jack saying no, it's not. But he said in the convention, it's not dangerous in the conventional sense. But there are people that are not prepared to go into the wilderness, and I think he's worried about those people. Somebody like me that would probably get lost on the way back. You know what I mean? So I get that one a little bit. It's not that it's the location is safe, but there's a concern of just people going in the wilderness in general. Is what I think Jack was saying. What do you think?
Okay. He told me to go out there with my son. So it's safe enough for my kid to go to, but not Cowlazars because he might get lost. I might get lost. I just don't think it's in a dangerous. The one thing Forrest said for years is it's not in a dangerous place. Here's the problem. People are now out wandering. I could say, Jack, you're making people wander out in the middle of nowhere. If we at least knew where it was, we could make it safe to make sure that nobody gets lost there. The safety issue is not saying where it is, because people are going to wander and do inappropriate and not good things, like Mike wandering around in the wilderness. We don't want that. Save Mike.
Yeah, I guess. The other thing is, it seems as if Jack, maybe makes it sound as if so many things have happened since the 10 years is up, and that's why Forrest changed his mind on the location. Because there are so many, the 7%ers, the delusional people, etc., that maybe that would be a concern. I don't know. Personally, I don't know.
Well, but do you think, okay, and I even can agree with that. So Forrest, after the June statement comes out, and before he passes away in September, he made a statement 2 months before he died. Why wouldn't he said it's up to Jack? After June, when it's been announced, before he passes, and he made a statement about it. Why wouldn't he say, hey guys, I've decided it's up to me. I went through hell. I don't want you guys going through hell anymore. Jack's not announcing it. Why did he need Jack did he all of a sudden not become the strong veteran, strong man? He needed Jack, who wouldn't even visit him?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. Is why didn't Forrest come out and say that if that was the case? Yeah, that's true. I do not know the answer to that.
Mr. Clue saying hashtag save Mike. I mean, save Mike.
From myself. That's true.
Okay, next. I think there's only like 2 or 3 slides. So conclusions for me, this is just my opinion. Jack is the finder, retriever, solution originator of, and he found the treasure chest. So I'm still a supporter of all of those things are the truth. To me, I know a lot of you guys disagree with me. Jack has the solution and the final location. I think we can all agree on that. Hold on one second. The final location and solution is being held private due to Jack with knowledge by Forrest of something significant that changed Forrest's position. That's my opinion. Forrest, as he had in Jack's words, has gone to great lengths to help Jack, even after his death at this point. I think there's something more here. Jack stated this is due. Okay, go ahead.
No, we did get a super chat. Indiana Jones says Forrest is umbilically attached to the spot. And I believe that means Yellowstone, where he spent as a kid. But that's true. Forrest did say that. Thanks for the super chat, Indiana
Yes,
Jones.
thank you. Jack states that it is due to the state of the chase, the crazy searchers, and Forrest. I believe this is mostly correct. You cannot ignore that. And I think that's what Nelica was saying in there too, because I've had discussions with him like, oh my gosh, there's so much that's happened. But I think there's more to it. There is no direct written or video statement from Forrest that is saying it's going to be up to me and I'm not going to let the finder put it out, which is basically Jack's position at this point. I have not found one searcher, one press, one observer. Tell me in the chat if you are one of them that believes the statement that the reason that Jack cannot release the location is he thinks that it'll be damaged, there's safety issues, etc. Everyone believes there's something more. And maybe it's for good reason, like legal reasons, tax reasons, like you were saying earlier, Mike. There's other reasons. But in my opinion, I don't find it credible. And once we find you in one fib, it becomes harder to believe the other things. I believe there's something more than I won't tell the solution because you're telling so many other things. WWWH is water. It is warm to the touch. The canyon is where you get in your car because it's too far to walk. The home, you've given us so many of these other hints. Why are you saying that and not the location? My opinion.
So the gold ticket in the chat, Stephanie points out, I didn't hire anyone to remove manhole covers. I popped one up myself to look in. I knew it couldn't be in them after doing that. So thanks for the
okay, yeah, and whether, and I don't know if you saw the piece that we were talking about, that whether you hired somebody or not, I think that's what he was saying, is like it's not that complicated. I actually think it's like what we all miss. You just walk up to it. I had heard that story. I'd heard, well, you guys all see him in the presses and stuff. I don't think it took 100 feet of this and 100 feet down. We call him the backhoe man, but he didn't hire a backhoe. He just had about 10 guys with him. It wasn't that complicated, right? So
Susie Fenhaven says, Cowlazars, do you see revealing the location the same as revealing the solution? Well, if he reveals the solution, I do see it the same, because now actually it depends on what he does. If the solution to the poem was revealed, well, that's going to lead you to the location. It is the same. Now, he could reveal the location and not reveal the poem, but I don't understand the purpose in doing that. The whole idea is to protect the location. So that's why I think people have said, well, Jack, why don't you just tell us where warm waters halt? And then he said, but then you'd be able to figure out the rest of the way. He doesn't want to give any of the actual solutions to the clues, because then I believe that people would be able to figure out the rest and figure out the location.
Well, and you couldn't just say if you said WWWH is a geyser and the canyon is a canyon, but if you said WWWH is fire hole and canyon is this canyon and Homa Brown is, I don't know, whatever it is, I would think that you could definitely figure it out. So I don't see being able to, well, yeah, I think you could backwards engineer it from the final spot. I think definitely they're interconnected.
Well, we would. If somebody was like, this is the location verified, of course we would backward engineer the clues.
That's what we did with the GPS solve.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what we do. That's what we would do. David Crump says, did you guys talk about the invoices from Forrest attorneys? They invoiced for meeting with Jack's lawyer on like June 9th. Definitely Jack. Yeah, we have no doubt that Jack found the treasure chest, as Kpro said, that Jack is who Forrest met with, etc. So yeah, that's not in question for us. I know it may be for some people, but not for us. And Jack, and in my opinion, Jack does have the right to not give the location of the solution. Forrest said who and why, or where and why, where and why is always up to the finder. So Jack's within his rights here. I know people don't like it. A lot of people don't like it, but he's definitely within his rights to not reveal it.
Right. And I'm within my rights to say that you waited to say that until Forrest died to say that it's because of Forrest. Right. I'm allowed to lay out a timeline that says, I would have thought, knowing Forrest as many years as I knew Forrest, that he either wasn't intimidated or concerned enough about crazy searchers. He was taking enough heat for Jack and everyone else. Why not just put it out then? But no, so you're saying that he basically just went to the search community 2 months after the find. He was already taking tons of heat, lawsuits everywhere. and he just didn't say. I told him not to put it out. Wait until I die to say that. And he has not said it. He told me to wait until he died. He just did not put out the statements that he was putting out before. So Jack has even kind of evolved. First he said it was up to me, and here's all the reasons why. And then when Forrest passed, he's now changed it to, oh no, it was Forrest, and I'm doing it for Forrest because I respect him so much, and because of this treasure hunt. I don't know. It seems the timing a little off. So as much as I don't like that Jack's not putting it out, but I would not sue him. I would not go to his home. I would not attack him for it. I am willing to voice my opinion that when you lay it out like this, it seems like there's something more to this. And as much as Jack's willing and able, and I agree, he doesn't owe it to us, and he has his opinion, I'm allowed to have mine, and he should respect my opinion as much as I respect his.
And I think Jack does owe it to us. I just meant Jack isn't doing anything illegal or wrong or out of bounds or horrible, because Forrest said it's up to the finder. I do think Jack owes it to us and that he should give us a solution, but that's just my opinion. It's just a horrible ending to not know, to never know. Were we right or wrong? Was it in Yellowstone? Was it outside Yellowstone? Did Try the Wheel have anything to do with it? Did the medicine wheel have anything to do with it? Thermopolis, Matitsi, Pitchfork, Realm of Horton. There's all these.
Wait,
answers.
you know what? Somebody
There's all
wrote
these
me
questions.
today a pretty lengthy email, and there's also a post up on Thor. Remind me, I want to read. They said something fascinating. If it was outside of Yellowstone, let's use logic here, because Forrest said a logical treasure hunter can figure some of this out. If it was outside of Yellowstone, Jack, I think, could easily say that, because it doesn't get him to any trouble of which type of land was it on, where was it, etc. The only reason he wouldn't say if it was in or out of the park only is it because if it was in the park. Because if he says it's outside the park, there's no legal issue, because there's every type of land, there's every type of situation. If he says it's inside the park, there are legal ramifications and all of that. So this, by him not answering that piece when he's answering so many other things, and one of the things he will not answer is if Yellowstone has been in touch with him, any Yellowstone officials, doesn't that logically say it has to be in the park then? Or is that a reach?
No, I get it. I mean, only Jack knows the reasons for why he won't give up the solution. He's telling us that it's to protect the area, Forrest Fenn special spot. Maybe it's something else like a legal reason. Maybe because it was in the park. Maybe not. He's not going to tell us that. But he's going with the public reason of he doesn't want it destroyed. And yeah, it is what it is. And then Watto Man says there's nothing stopping us from continuing to try to solve the poem. I'm hard at work at it, and I appreciate Jack's help. And at least he is answering emails. I mean, at least Jack is giving some information to people. Justin Posey says, as unfortunate as it sounds, I don't think Jack owes us anything. Forrest had an opportunity to make the chase more transparent, and he opted not to do so. There is no fault of Jack. And that's what I was trying to get at, Justin, as you so eloquently put it. It's not Jack's fault. Forrest gave him the permission to say it's up to you whether you release it or not. So I don't blame Jack that you have to release it. He doesn't have to do anything. I wish he would. I think he should, but he's not obligated to. Forrest said it's up to the finder. And Forrest said in our interview, if he decides not to say it, I'm not going to say in a million years what it was. So there it is.
Right. I agree with all that. But I'm just stating when something, who is it? One of those judges on TV, Judge Judy. She says, like, when something doesn't make sense, there's usually something more to it. I just think that there's something more to it. Yes, bingo, Kpro. Jack should say outside West or Yellowstone. That would actually remove the potential taint. Yeah, Tom.
Yeah. But if he does that, then our next video is going to be, well, then why? Why won't you release it if it's outside Yellowstone? It just opens up more questions, I think.
Yeah, well, he said Wyoming. Why would he say Wyoming, but he won't say in or out of the park? If it was in the park, it makes issues. If it's out of the park, there's 15 different types of land. It doesn't narrow it down in any way. It basically takes one very small piece of that state and narrows it down. So
I don't think the spot would get destroyed. Copper Dan says, do we really think the spot would get destroyed? Is there anybody that would go out there with spray paint and say F Forrest and all this other stuff? I mean, do you think
100% yes. 100% yes. In my opinion, here's what would happen. 50% of people might go out there and just see the spot and go, gosh, this is cool. 25 to 30, well, no, up to 97% would go out there and they would leave some little thing and they would cry at the spot and all of that. I did that where I thought the spot was. There's about 7% that would destroy the spot. There's 7% that are destroying parts of the Rockies still to this day because they still think their spot is right. But here's the crazy part and wonderful part. Let's say it was in Yellowstone. Yellowstone would put up webcams. That's why there's so many rangers. That's why wherever it is, I believe they could actually leverage off of that, and they would put up a kiosk. But would a crazy searcher maybe do something inappropriate? I think it is possible. But I get in my car, even though there's a 1% chance I'll get in a car accident, the 99% transportation, time, etc., I actually get in my car. Just because there is the possibility of it happening doesn't, the pros and cons, the good outweighs the bad. So because one crazy person might do something, look how many crazy people are in. I mean, people fall into geysers. Do you mean let's keep them away from all geysers? That's why Forrest kept this hunt going. Just my opinion.
I believe in the actual spot, and this is what I would try and make happen if we were the funds to find it, Kpro. I believe there should be some kind of a plaque in the exact spot where the treasure chest was. Just a plaque. And it basically says, this is where Forrest Fenn's treasure chest lied for 10 years, blah, blah, blah. There was a poem. The poem is on the plaque, just like a memorial, a tribute, something that will be there forever to just say, this is where it was. Now, what I would do is I would do that. And then I would tell everybody that plaque is there. Now go find it. All you people who still want to solve the poem, it's there. You'll know when you're right, because when you come across this plaque, you know you're right. It's right there in the middle. It's not hidden, etc. Now, if it was in Yellowstone, you can't do that unless you get Yellowstone, the park's permission to do something like that, right? But that would be my hope. I could see Jack saying, I'm not going to release it. I don't want the location known, but I put this plaque there so that if anybody else finds it behind me, good luck. That's on you guys if you want to still try and find it.
Oh, there's about 100 different suggestions of making this a better solution. And I know Nelka and Justin are both saying they don't owe us any. I don't think he owes us anything. I'm not demanding answers. I am looking into more. And I believe, as much as Jack isn't to blame, he's the only one in control enough to correct things. I know maybe some others know, but either they're under confidentiality, they're under lawyers' ethical code, they're the family, they don't want anything to do with this. Anybody else? Why do you think, so Karen asked, why do you think Jack is still around and sending emails with no information? I believe, this is just my opinion at this time, I believe that it is because he may need to piecemeal out the treasure. And if he does, he is corresponding and keeping that market open to be able to buy I think that's his marketing database, if you will. But why isn't he going to the press? That would help it more. I don't know. There's something more there. Why is he talking to I don't think he's trying. Some people think he's trying to find the actual finder. I think he's the actual finder. So I don't know. I don't know. I knew at the beginning, but he's still answering so many questions. So I don't know, but he's not answering. He's also saying a lot to people. I will not answer that.
Two things. Sledneck says somebody would steal the plaque, which I think is funny. And Eric Johnson says the park will not even let them do plaques for dead climbers or for people that have died. So apparently that's a no-go in the park. And again, when you're in the park, you have to obey whatever they say, unless Jack didn't obey something when he found the treasure chest. And maybe we just don't know. We can guess all we want. We just don't know. But something seems a little bit off. It seems like you said.
So Dirk is saying selling piece by piece would be a logistics nightmare. Nobody who would do that. Dirk, I'm only going by an email he sent to a searcher that said if it doesn't pan out, that was on the Puerto Rico show. The 5 million was not an accurate email, but from what I understand, the other is. I don't really have a way of verifying. I'm not going to ask Jack to verify every single email. He's done that for us a couple times. This is just kind of how he has it set up. It looks like he has a target in mind. This is my opinion. If he gets that target, he would sell it whole. But if he doesn't, he might be up for the logistical nightmare. I don't know. I don't know. yeah, I'm just trying to, yeah.
And House Husband Diaries, what up, Carter? He says, what if Jack left something in the spot but hasn't told anybody? I mean, that's possible. He says he didn't, but maybe he left it for that one person that comes behind him to find.
Yep. But so Justin's saying it's human nature to assume the worst that when there's not when there's an information void. It's unfortunately. See, I'm trying not to go there. I'm trying to be as neutral, and I know it comes out a little negative because if you look at the timing, it only came out after Forrest died. So there's only giving us two logical explanations. Forrest, 2 months before he died, really meant something different, but wanted Jack to hold on to that and defend him after his death or take blame after his death, which could be the case. Just what I know of Forrest, it wouldn't be that. Neither is horrible, but either Jack's withholding it for other reasons or Forrest withheld it and said something different until he died and Jack's taking on that torch. Jack, the person that didn't have time to go and meet him, I don't know. It doesn't seem to correspond in my mind. Was that the last slide, Mike? I thought I had one more.
No, we have one more. One more question. Two Trips says, why did Forrest Fenn ask you if the finder was at the finale? Remember, he wanted a picture of everyone. Why do you think that was?
So
had he already met Jack at that point? He had, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the finder meeting was June 6th, 7th, 8th. The finale was first week of September. So I wasn't a part of that. So Cynthia was asked to take a picture of everybody, and then I think she recruited Candy, and they were going around and meeting with each person, taking a picture, sending it to Forrest. I said to Forrest at the finale, I think the finder could be here. And what he said was, I had Cynthia and Indy take a picture of every single person at the finale, and the finder was not there. My answer to him was, you only had them take pictures of people at the picnic. There was an event the night before that some searchers went to. Some searchers got caught in the fire, so they weren't able to go to the picnic. Some people were there later, etc. The interesting part is, Forrest said, you have video of that. Can you show me the people that were there that weren't in there? He was very interested to know if Jack attended we didn't know Jack, the finder attended. So I showed him that. And then it was interesting. Later, he said, I said, why didn't you just ask him? And he said, it's complicated or something like that. Cheryl said, Kpro didn't have time to do another interview with Forrest Fenn. Oh, Cheryl, you must be having a bad night. No, that's not what I said. The day I got back, I needed 2 or 3 days. I was actually preparing for a court situation with my children. And yes, my custody battle with my children was more important for those 3 or 4 days time. So I wasn't able to respond as quickly. 3 days is different than 4 months. June versus September and 3 days. If I would have known going back, maybe I'd feel a little bit bad about that. But did I know that those 3 days mattered? I needed those 3 days to deal with a court situation. So I was scheduled for, gosh, I don't remember which day it was, Cynthia. Was it Wednesday? I'm like, I just didn't know at the time. And actually doing it over again, my kids would have mattered more.
And Diana Grieve says, I'm still hoping for the AGK winner to open that envelope. Do you guys remember Forrest wrote something, put it in an envelope for Toby and Shelley? And Christian won that. I should reach out to him. I wonder if he ever decided what to do with it. I know he hasn't opened it, at least I think I talked to him about a month or two ago, and he said, I'm not going to open it. Somebody can buy it or something.
Yeah, I don't remember. So.
Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint.
Yeah. And Cheryl said maybe Jack had other things to do for those 4 months as well. So yeah, maybe for those 4 months, maybe he was moving to Puerto Rico. No, I kid. Yeah, 72 hours is the same as 4 months. You're right. Okay. 2 can keep a secret and nothing is what it seems. Those are the 2 quotes that I leave you with. I just think there's more here. I don't think it's awful terrible. I don't think Jack owes us anything. I just think part of the reason that I think he's corresponding with everybody is he's saying it's still attainable, try to figure it out. Some people figure it out through the poem. Some people figure it out through slip-ups of Forrest, through videos. Maybe now we're going to be able to figure it out through slip-ups of Jack through these different statements. Maybe this is how. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
Kind of interesting. Oh, of course, as I just lose it. Who just posted there are 99 unique words in the poem? Now we know that the poem has 166 words, but I think this person, where'd you go? It was there. I think this person is saying there's 99 unique words. That's interesting if true. I can't imagine there's 165 words that are duplicated though. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at that one. Look at the poem. Oh, I think he retracted it. Yes, I'm looking at you. I think you retracted it. All right, I'm interested in chasing Indy's email. Were you going to read it and see what it is or no? Okay. So thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We're going to see if there's any breaking news in chasing Indy's email, but we are going live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific, same channel, Forrest Fenn, Treasure Found panel. A new group of searchers are going to come on and give their opinion. And yeah, it should be a good show. We do appreciate everybody watching. And again, Jack found the treasure and Jack's going to do what Jack wants to do, but the community is still here. We're still here asking questions. We're still here needing closure. And people go about it in different ways, but we just are trying to provide a forum and a chat room and panels so that people can voice their opinion, because a lot of times that helps people. World Series of Fenn, a lot of people got together and voiced their opinion, and it was a lot of fun, and I think helps people as well. Thanks, Odorous Gnome. We appreciate that. Chasing It says, I think Jack slipped up, and I think she means in that what she sent you. Let's see.
Yeah, I have. Can you send that to Mike on your email, because I have 2 cut off portions. I don't have a whole.
Come on, piece. Candy. Yeah, send it. Cowlazars@gmail.com.
Well, I can start in the middle of it, but it won't make sense, I don't think, because right. I'm not. And there's acronyms here that I don't know either. So
just a reminder, everybody, check it out. Mr. Clue's brand new treasure hunt starts in 44 minutes. That's Mr. Clue's Bourbon Derby treasure hunt. And if I can find it real quick, I will show you what one of the prizes is because he sent it to me. And there it is. Check it out. And this is what we showed after we cut off last time, unfortunately. Look at that. This is one of the prizes. Mr. Clue says him and his family have been going to the Kentucky Derby every year for years. This is a Kentucky Derby tribute or puzzle, I guess you could say. And this coin set is just one of the prizes. I think when the video premieres in 45 minutes, we're going to see what the prizes are. So thank you to Mr. Clue for doing what you do. He says, he pays it forward from the treasure hunt, from Thrill of the Chase. And we do appreciate it. 43 minutes. Also a reminder that tomorrow we will have the Forrest Fenn panel. And after the Forrest Fenn panel tomorrow night, we're going to do the Zoom on the hunt for history, Bart Kay's treasure hunt, 12 pounds of silver in Indiana. And I think I just heard Chasing Indy send me the emails. I think it's Facebook. Let me check.
Yeah, because mine starts at I pretty much ruled out, and I don't know if that, and it does go into Cody and all of that. I do think part of this, but if I read this, I'm not following it. So
okay, hang on, Chasing Indy, you're throwing me off here. All right.
Well, we can go over that on tomorrow night's show. I mean, we can get additional information, but when I post to get me stuff beforehand, I could have had it inside this presentation. So we can do that piece. I have part of it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, so that's it. That's how we lay it out. That's what we got. There you have it.
Yeah, let's go over it. Candy, let's talk about it before the show tomorrow, and we can talk about it then. Because yeah, I'm a little unsure as well as far as what it is.
Okay, and somebody said, let's follow that Jack. No. I know you probably are kidding, but some people are not. Don't follow Jack. Don't contact Jack. People gave me telephone numbers. No, he's been clear. He doesn't want to be contacted. The family doesn't want to be contacted. Let's just leave all of that alone. We could just have some of our discussion. I think several are right in here. Jack doesn't owe us anything, but we sure can discuss it and have some fun with it. Let's leave it at that. And we just keep rolling with what we think is right, and things keep evolving. Jack's story keeps evolving. My story keeps evolving. Evolving is not saying, it just seems like we're getting more and more. And do I think it eventually will come out? Yes. Because 2 can keep a secret. And I think there's many that know right now. And I think there's going to be slip ups and this and that and all of that.
Very, very interesting. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Mr. Clue's new hunt is in 40 minutes, totally armchair, by the way. Bobby Dunbar is doing a masterclass in codes, ciphers, and treasure hunting. Make sure you email Bobby. Email me, and I will pass along his info to you if you're interested. He does it Saturdays and Sundays. I believe it's a Zoom that you have to pay to be a part of. We're still going to get back to private Zooms for some of these treasure hunts because I still think the group solution is the way to go. On Facebook, Cowlazars and Kpro's Grand Adventure. We put all the links. We put all the news articles about different treasure hunts and information for the Forrest Fenn hunt when we get it. I put the link there as well, and hinterriches.com. Yeah.
One other thing I want to say, somebody, Journeyman asked, has anyone checked to see if the rules laws had changed in the last year or two? Yes, I did. And in that process, I was talking to a searcher that we went down a different rabbit hole. Is there a place in the park that has been not accessible in the last year or two? And maybe not accessible now, like is in closures, mudslides, earthquakes, which Forrest mentioned in November of 2019. And he's mentioned a couple times since then. And yes, there is. Think about this. What if the treasure chest location was in a place 10 years ago that Forrest got to it, but then there was a mudslide. Let's just say a mudslide for sake of discussion. There was a mudslide, and that mudslide made the crews have to come out, and the road that it was on was not accessible to the public. So if you went and said you found it there, Yellowstone could come back and say, give it back to us. You shouldn't have been on that road. Think about it.
Possibility. I mean,
and let's go a little bit further. Why would you feel so confident that on Friday afternoon, when you saw it for the first time, that nobody was going to go and pick it up before Saturday morning when you slept in? Maybe the reason you're confident is because you knew that road was closed.
And I'll add this. If that's the case, if Jack had to do something illegally inside the park to obtain the treasure chest, even though he got permission from Forrest, and even though he returned it to Forrest and Forrest gave it to him, that doesn't change the fact that he did break a law inside Yellowstone National Park. They could still come after him. And they could. I mean, they could either legally come after him. Or the treasure
chest.
Just to try and fine him or however that works, or try and say you unlawfully obtained it. We don't care if it was Forrest and he gave it to you. You owe it to us. That was in our park. You unlawfully obtained it. And even they could just make a case, whether they're right or not, they could definitely make a case. And that's true. I mean, all these things are valid. All these things are possibilities. I do think Forrest is the type of person that was like, I'm going to hide it in my special place. And I don't really care. You know, there had to be a legal
question. But I think at the beginning,
he hired the lawyers to begin with.
Well, and he hired a set of lawyers after 2010. Holy brings up a good point. What about the geocaching rules changing? That could be. That's not my going theory right now, but if you have one on that, I will tell you I'm super, super, super behind. A lot of you have been sending me your solves. I am trying to redirect all of you to Mike when it comes to solutions. I can't read through them all. And I'm really behind on emails. And so I'm sorry, I'm going as fast as I can. But that's just me.
Okay. Yeah, we're going live tomorrow. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Hint of Riches is the forum. Cowlazars and Kpro's Grand Adventure is the Facebook group. Cowlazars is the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Please thumbs up this video. And if you want to come on the panel, Monday nights is the Forrest Fenn panel. If you want to come on, if you have an idea to pose, we're not just going to let people come on and talk about their solutions, but email me or Kpro and we'll decide if we think it warrants merit on our show, then we may have you on. Mr. Clue says if Jack watched a documentary about Sue the T-Rex discovery, he will remain silent forever. See, I haven't seen that one, Mr. Clue, but I did hear about it. There are some private citizens that found a T-Rex, and yeah, it would be interesting to watch to see how that worked. With
J.R. Burton says legal, wait for suits to be dropped. From what I'm understanding, that is the case now. I don't believe it's going to change. I do not believe the legal suits and the statute of limitations, I think we're like a year out. I don't think that is going to change Jack's mind from the people that I have spoken to that know Jack pretty well. But that's just me. Maybe that's a question that you guys should email him. Are you ever going to put it out 10, 20, 30 years from now? Maybe.
Yeah, it would almost be like the secret JFK files, like 50 years from the day he found it, he'll release it. or put it in his will to release it. That would actually be kind of cool, wouldn't it? So,
Yeah.
but I don't know if he'll ever do it. But
Hillbilly asks, has anyone spoken to Yellowstone National Park officials to see if they're even interested in going after the finder if it was in the park? Why, yes, Hillbilly. Some searchers have, and they have communicated to me there might be an issue there. So that even goes more so to this crazy theory of mine. I think it was in the park. I think it's obvious.
okay, well, I think that's the show. Everybody enjoy your Sunday night. We'll see you again in just over 24 hours, 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Forrest Fenn panel. Remember, you never know who's going to join us. So say bye to everybody, Eric.
Bye.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Check out Mr. Clue's new video. See ya. All right, we're out.